Hello out there in Twitch land. It's Hunnicut on holiday. This is going to be an interesting show where we usually have a nice format where we talk about the special holiday. But today we're feeling really relaxed. It was raining here in Austin, so I feel like we're all a little sleepy. So we might have a segment called Pillow Talk. We're just going to talk about the day, and hopefully, you can chime in with your stories. We can kind of riff raff, and let's just start off with how are you guys? How's everything?
I'm doing great. I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, ColdTowne Radio there.
Pew,
Yes.
pew, pew, pew.
We're very lucky to have them. Don't know how we landed that one. And also to Stephanie Thorson, who we asked to be on the show, and she said no. What was the question? How am I doing?
Yeah.
I would say
How are you doing, Matt?
a little punchy, I think. I think this, I have not slept well the last 3 nights, and I feel like it's bringing out a very weird Matt Shirley at this point. So,
Matt, I can definitely relate to your bed right now because mine looks exactly like that, like behind you, where you just have sheets and clothes on top of it. If I pan my camera, you would also see a very similar bed and a lot of just garbage everywhere. So
Is that
in,
I think
in my defense, I don't sleep in this bed.
okay?
I sleep on the floor.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding. That's my guest. This is my guest room / office.
yeah, I sleep on that crap bed over there. Lisa, how are you?
I am okay. I've had a roller coaster of a day. I had to do something very personal and scary this morning, emotionally scary, and I did it. And then I was like, I don't need to do anything else the rest of the damn day. But then I felt empowered and got some errands done and shit like that. And that's where we are. Now we're here.
Now we're here.
Cool.
I
Matt,
drove.
you got your pillow.
I did get my pillow. I drove an hour out of town today to buy 4 solar panels, which I have in my driveway right now. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Not yet. Now it's just a bunch of glass and junk sitting against the fence. But we will see. Maybe it'll be fun.
Jason.
I'm balancing this pillow. It's not comfortable. I'm trying to find a way where I can be visible on screen, but you also don't see the double chin that I got from COVID.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Let's see.
I
There we go.
got that COVID double chin too.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Pillow talk.
Lisa, your
all right,
chair
well,
looks comfortable enough that you don't need a pillow.
It's very not. It's not comfortable.
It looks like it's giving you a lot of support. Like it looks like it's like kind of tall.
This is the couch cushion.
Oh, so yeah, we are pillowing right now.
Yeah.
we are the pillow crew.
Pillow crew signing in.
Yeah.
Sweet. And I think a segment we wanted to kind of dive into is online dating. So I think we were just going to spitball on online dating and how it's been for all of us. If you're on it, if you're out on there on the chat world, feel free to chime in with your interesting date stories or bios. But yeah, anyone got an interesting bio that they've read the other day? Because I have some weird ones that I've been screen sharing or screen capturing.
Can I share my top 10?
Yeah.
Top 10 list.
Only if you share the pictures as well.
Cool.
I don't feel comfortable like
Fine.
out
You're
a
so
person.
ethical.
Yeah.
Embarrassing them, but they'll know who they are when I read the.
I'm gonna read mine.
So these are on Bumble, they give you these prompts. And so these are all some answers that people have put on prompts on my personal Bumble feed. These are real live people, anonymous people. Number one is, My personal hero is my mommy.
Mommy Milky.
Also, this person that had that had liked me, and they're 20 years younger than me.
That meaning that changes when you turn 18.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't mean the same thing anymore. So I find that extremely creepy.
This guy, here's a guy that gets two of his get into the list here. I'm a regular at Domino's. This actually might be Jason. He also said, let's debate this topic. Tacos.
Oh, that's
This is like a guy who literally Googled like how to write Bumble profile.
Domino's.
Yeah. So here's a guy that also gets two on here because they're thematic. I will say that this guy's name on there is Rocky, and he says, dating me is like, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. And then his second prompt is, I won't shut up about Philadelphia. And that's what said.
You don't want to go on a date with a guy who just can't shut up about Philadelphia.
I know.
Like it's always sunny in Philadelphia, or like literally the city Philadelphia.
Well, maybe the actual city. Do they have nothing else to talk about other than the city that they're probably from? Man, I hope I don't do that. I might.
He was from Philadelphia. It said he was from Philadelphia.
Okay.
I also like how he said dating me is not just a job,
I
implying
know.
that it is a job, and it's more than that. You know, like normal relationships. Normal relationships are jobs, right?
Yeah.
That's a healthy way of viewing these things.
Number 6 is, together we could go to a bunch of small town festivals.
Okay, I think that one's kind of fun, actually. That actually sounds fun.
That is also like him asking a female friend of his, like, what should I put on you?
What's the safest thing to put on?
We could go to Fredericksburg and go to the Jam Festival.
Yeah, it's also very Texas. Like, I don't think someone in New York would say that. Or I don't know.
That's a very Texas thing, I feel. Because I think being out here in Maine, I find myself like, let's go adventuring to a small town. Like outside Maine or like Elgin or Taylor, because
go to one of those Mainer suburbs.
Don't write it though.
Number 7 is a great one. Trump isn't the president anymore, ladies. Please let it go. It's time to move on.
That is so funny.
I'm in love now.
That is so funny. The Trump dead ender, who is not like, he's not just like celebrating Trump. Like, he's not just talking about the things he likes, even if they're shitty, but he's whining that other people don't like. Nothing's more attractive than to women, right? Than publicly whining.
Yeah. 8 is, you should leave a comment if you like to get drunk when you drink. And you know what? My reaction to this dude was actually, you know what? This guy is honest.
And drunk.
Drunk. Okay, I saved the best one for last. And it's a guy that has 2 prompts that made it in here. Number 9. I'm known for having acquired a vasectomy at the age of 25.
That's just like, there's no other way to say it than too much information.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his other prompt is, I'm a real nerd about orchestrating / achieving this life's deepest, most insatiable orgasms.
Whoa.
See, that's the reason why it's like, yeah, you could find some weird like women profiles on there, but I just feel like it's not going to compare at all to what men throw on. There's just it's just not a comparison.
I have one that I screen share, or I took a picture of that is so bizarre, and I'm sure y'all are aware of the two truths and a lie. So this one I'm going to read out because no matter what the answer is, I think it's kind of bizarre. So, okay, so the first one is went to jail in Costa Rica, had sex in a Burger King bathroom, and number 3, saw a man masturbating with gloves on while walking in the subway station after work. And keep in mind, the word masturbating spelled wrong. So 2 truths and a lie right there. And I didn't know what to say.
Were you in New York when this happened?
No, this was here in Texas.
Oh, that's a lie. There's no subways here. Come on.
I know, this was yesterday. Yeah. I was like, that's the weirdest 2 truths and a lie. Because if you had sex in a Burger King bathroom, then I'm not sure if you want to.
The 2 truths and a lie one is a challenge for me because every time I'm like, you know what? Which way I swipe really depends on which of these.
I don't like that game in general. I don't like I don't know. My brain doesn't work well with that of like 2 correct things and then 1 incorrect that are all supposed to be equivalent. I don't know. My brain doesn't work on that. But the one thing about dating apps that I think is really, it's like a collective failure, is I see this all the time, is people, and I just say people, but women will put on there, I would say like I assume it's everybody, but they'll put on there, live in Texas, made in France or something like that. And I'm like,
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's like, stop telling me where your parents fucked. That's weird. That's so weird. Not interested.
I've never seen a guy say that.
Really? I see that a lot on, and it's obviously just like it's just like a stupid kind of phrasing thing. But it's like every time I just want to say that, like, I don't want to know where your parents fucked.
I usually see the chain where it's like started in New York, arrow, Phoenix, Arizona, arrow, Los Angeles, California, arrow, and now Austin, right? And it's like, okay, I get you lived 3 other cities before Austin. But I always thought that was kind of common to do, just kind of give you your history of where you've lived.
A similar thing I see is guys won't post any text at all, no like words or letters. They'll only post emojis, which at first I was like, what is this? And someone told me it's like things that they're into, but those things I got to get my reading glasses out. What are you into, a bowling ball and here's a parrot?
That's a lazy way to, you should, write it out so they're just going to an emoji.
Plus there's some weird emojis. It's like, I want to throw like, I want to update my Bumble profile to just be like a crossing guard emoji. What does that mean?
This guy just help people cross every
like there's
weekend?
some really random emojis out there that exist.
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of guys that are their whole profile is about how they hate dating apps and they're wasting their time being on a dating app. And I'm like, why is this? What woman is attracted to this?
Yeah, only losers are on dating apps.
I'm just because it's ironic.
Women, hello, come at me.
Maybe you're having a hard time, sir, because you are saying that this sucks.
Only complete antisocial morons would be on dating apps. Swipe right if you agree.
So here's a bio that's kind of generic, but it kind of tells you about the person already. It's okay. Wanting a best friend to kick back, laugh, explore, and live life with. So live, laugh, love in a way. I can do it myself. I just don't want to. Not attached to my cell phone. Independent and drama free. Dork. And just it's just segmented that way. So I think if you put drama free on your bio, you probably have some drama that you probably get people.
Right.
I'm glad you agree with that, because every time someone says that, there's a part of me that's like, well, yeah, that's great. Nobody likes drama. But are you saying that because you attract a lot of drama?
It's like
you basically attract drama.
It's like there should be like a winky emoji after that. Like drama free. What does that read?
Well, I'm gonna keep looking for good ones, but I do have a top 10 the worst first date spots. I'm wondering if you all agree with this list. So maybe I'll do that now. Let's see if y'all agree with me. This might be personal, where I would not want to have a first date with, but I think they're also universal. I can be completely wrong. I'll start with number 10. A gun range. What do y'all feel about that? A first date at a gun range.
These are completely hypothetical. What could be the worst?
Yeah.
It depends.
And to me, number 10 would be a gun range.
I mean, if it's the gun-toting guy and the gun-toting woman, then I guess that's a great first date.
Right. I mean, that is the thing about dates, is like it depends on the person. Of like, it's either going to be the worst or like they're getting married. Like they're driving to Vegas right after that.
I think for a first date, it's kind of like you don't want to go to the movies because you want to talk to the person. So I feel like shooting a firearm, you're not really talking to them. You're just shooting a gun. And
I feel like unless that's a very strongly held joint passion, it's introducing some weird power dynamics into the situation.
Well, I'll put a little star next to this one, and it just might be me.
That date definitely doesn't feel drama free.
Yeah.
Y'all want to hear a story about the last time I went to a shooting range?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's hear it.
Coincidentally, it was the day of my grandfather's funeral. Not related. It was also the day that guy flew a plane into the IRS building in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that in Austin?
That's a few years ago, right?
It was 2009. But yeah, I went to my grandfather's funeral, and my crazy, weird cousin Kirby, who also works for the IRS in Austin, but not in that building, was there. And then after the funeral, he said, he asked me and my dad if we wanted to go to a shooting range that he found like up the highway, and we said, "Oh, okay, sure." And we went, and it was fine. It was a really just kind of dilapidated shooting range. And then the other thing I remember is that he had a box of Ross Perot for President t-shirts at least 10 years after Ross Perot ran for president. And I wanted one, but then I forgot to get one, and I regret that to this day. I wish I had a Ross Perot 1996 for president t-shirt. I would be wearing it right now.
That shirt right now is in Buffalo Exchange for $300. So I wish you would have had it. Yeah, I don't think I've been to a gun range before, but I shot a rifle when I was younger, and it was ski, I guess, and I was able to do that actually pretty well, but never got into guns. I don't want to shoot a gun. I don't feel anything when I shoot it, but you're supposedly feel powerful, right, when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
All right, number 9. You have?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I'm like anti-war. I'm so not about guns, but I did go to a shooting range once and shot a 9mm, and I was like, this is awesome.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I would imagine it. Yeah, feels super powerful.
I just want to point out before. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. I just wanted to point out. There's some comments that need to be acknowledged from here. It's specifically, and I'm just saying this because, there could be people out there living much more exciting lives than us that we should acknowledge. And Hong Kong girl out here, she says, not a first date, but I went to watch a movie at a guy's house and found out he lives at a storage facility. That's a great story.
That's terrible.
That's a great story.
Austin's expensive. That makes sense to me.
Maybe that guy is just
Oh,
what's the word? Innovative.
Yeah, he's
I
scrappy.
the last time I've been inside of a storage unit is when I first moved to Austin, and I was trying to find a band to join, and so I answered a Craigslist ad, and it was like play in this surf rock death doom metal band, and tryouts are 11 a.m. on Saturday at this location, and so I went there with my guitar and amp to play what I would imagine would be a match of like new wave surf rock and doom metal, which I thought it was a pretty interesting thing that could happen if I can meet up with this guy. And I got there and he had a big corn banister on his behind his drum set, and it was in a storage unit. And I had this little doinky amp, and I remember we were trying to mesh, and I'm pretty sure he was playing the beat to Freak on a Leash. So not really doom metal or surf rock. And I just remember being a really weird experience. And I thought, you know what, this might be the last time I try to start a band, because or on Craigslist, because it was very awkward and we did not gel. It's like a first date, but for musicians, right? Because if you don't know anyone, you're just like, hey, let's try to jam out and see if it works. But it did not, because he really liked new metal. I think he was really into corn. Cool. Well, number 9. Cool. All right. So buffet. I would not want to go on a first date at a buffet, because I feel like I'm a very messy eater. I probably overeat and get tired real quick. I don't know how to pace myself. And also, you're not focused on the conversation. You're focused on the food and all the varieties of food that they have, right? So that's mine. How do you feel about buffets for a date?
I wouldn't have thought of that one, but I completely agree that that's not the best first date.
Kind of.
Yeah, I wouldn't volunteer that unless there was a reason for it. Like, I could see it, like, if sorry, there was on the Twitch stream, our Zoom panel came open. Anyways, no, like, unless it was like chatting, like, and it came up that this is like a fun, quirky thing to do, because I would love to go to like a pizza buffet on a date. I think that would be fucking great. Not like a Golden Corral. That's just a little too much. But
do you know a pizza place that is a little bit more gourmet, but also buffet style?
Not gourmet. I used to go to Hong Kong Girl says Pizza Hut buffet, which I didn't know that Pizza Hut still does a buffet.
Yeah.
But I like Pizza Hut pizza.
I do too. I like Pizza Hut pizza as well.
I was going to volunteer Double Dave's.
I'm also frequent at the Domino's and Pizza Hut, just to let you know before. I'm a hot spot.
One time I went to the. No, I was just going to say I like the Double Dave's buffet, which is definitely not gourmet, but it's like $8.50 for unlimited pizza and soda. And anyways, I used to go to pizza buffets like once every 6 months and just like eat through my shame. But I haven't done that in probably about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I'll eat myself. I'll eat my own weight in pizza, and I don't think that's going to be a very attractive look on me or a good impression.
Unless you think of it this way, look, if you want to be in a long-term relationship, you want someone that accepts you at your lowest points. Yeah. So maybe the first date needs to be the lowest point.
Yeah. No, it's a very like disarming and honest and what's the word? A vulnerable position that you're putting yourself into. So maybe it could, lead to a good outcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, here's number 8. Your own birthday party. That would be a kind of a weird first date if you invite them to your own birthday party.
Pretty terrible. Because if it doesn't work out, then your whole birthday is shot.
Yeah, but it's also I don't like birthdays to begin with, because I like going to birthday parties and celebrating other people's birth. But I think when the attention's on me about something like turning a new number, I get kind of like, it's just a day for me. Why are you more excited about it than I am? So I think if it was a birthday, I probably wouldn't be focused on the date. I would be focused on my birthday party, or vice versa, and I'd be disappointing people that came out to celebrate my birth, which is still a weird concept to me. But yeah, Matt, what about
Celebrating
you?
your birth?
Yeah, would you have a first date with having someone?
So that it doesn't work well with what we just talked about, the food thing, because usually for my birthday I use it as an excuse to eat a bunch of junk food.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom once, she told me, I remember as a kid, she said, never take a woman to a date at a chicken wing restaurant.
Matt's mom sits him down to have the sex talk.
The birds, the bees, and the chicken restaurants.
Here's a maybe I shouldn't say that. It's not too enticing. I was just gonna say I never actually had a proper sex talk from my parents. What I did have, which I don't think is a substitute, but was used as a substitute, was my 11, 12-year-old Boy Scout anti-sexual harassment document that you had to read through and sign. And so
What?
that's a very, because be like, hey, this is what sexual harassment is, 11-year-old boys. If you see it, report it. And so my dad was just like, all right, we're going to read this and we're going to sign it and we're all good, right?
Now that you talk about it, I don't think I've ever had a sex talk with my folks. Like, hey, this is,
well, Jason, let's call him up.
Yeah.
You got it. Let's put him on speakerphone.
Or Matt and I could just pretend to be your parents.
Sure.
That works too. We can make this as awkward as possible. So, yeah.
I also did not really have the sex talk. What happened was my mom found out that I had sex, and then she tried to initiate the conversation, and I just shut it down. So.
Yeah.
Nice. You were like, no thanks, Mom. I already figured it.
We're good.
Too late.
I think I might have just learned from the internet, which is not good either. Because I don't remember anything in sex ed class. So I think I was very distant with that. I think I am still today. Even as a 35-year-old man, I don't think I ever talk about that with my folks. Not that it's normal to do that, but I feel like there's, if there's a sex scene, I think I was watching a movie with my dad the other day, when I was back in New York for those 2 months, and a sex scene came up, and it's just
it's still weird.
I'm gonna just fast forward it, and I'll be blunt about it. I'm like, Dad, I don't want to watch this with you. Just fast forward.
Oh, you're like, sorry, Dad, you suck.
I might watch just him and I, and and there's a steamy sex scene. So I just call it out, right? Not gonna do it, Dad. I'm gonna change it.
Yeah, this
isn't. That's that weird.
No.
Should I? Okay.
You don't have to you don't have to do weird things with your dad if you don't want to. That make you uncomfortable.
That's also something that Matt's mom said during the sex talk.
No, I think that was part of the Boy Scout sexual harassment thing. But no, this is not sex related, but it's parents related. But a couple weeks ago, my dad and his wife were in town, and my stepsister. Seems weird saying I have a stepsister because she's 17 and we don't have a relationship. I barely know her, but she's nice, and she's a junior. I guess she's a junior in high school, and she was looking at the UT campus, so they were in town. It was fun. It was fun overall, but we were. But to be clear, I do not have a relationship with my my dad's wife. I'm not even referring to her as my stepmom. I'm referring to her as dad's wife.
Dad's wife.
Left my mom to be with this woman, so it's not a good thing. But so we're eating dinner, and we're eating dinner, and out of nowhere she goes, yeah, so what are your views on religion? I'm agnostic. We don't really believe in anything. What?
To the chase.
Why do you think I'm going to talk to you about this? And then I just said something unrelated, and then she said, "What does that mean?" And I said, "It means that I was ignoring the question and moving on."
You gotta call it out. Yeah.
And that was the end of the conversation.
All right. Well, number 7 for me. This one for ethical reasons. I imagine you all would agree with this, but a zoo. A zoo would be a kind of a weird place.
Oh, I thought you said Zoom at first, and I was like,
I did too.
yeah.
No, that's probably the most practical right now. But no, a zoo, like seeing animals that are caged up.
I think there's a lot of people that would be like, "That's a great first date," but me, no, I don't believe zoos should exist. So.
I agree. Yep.
I don't have strong ideological views about zoos, but I also don't attend them, so I will leave it up to you to decide whether that's
I think
okay.
a number 7 spot's good for zoo then. That's probably the only one that will matter. Or be on the list that stays. All right, so number 6 is rock climbing. I don't rock climb, and I don't want to start on a first date. How do you feel about rock climbing? And I'm talking about like a gym rock climbing class, not outdoorsy. So maybe that place right next to Austin Ale House or whatever it is, the Cider House. There's a rock climbing gym. What about that? How do y'all feel about that?
That would be a great first date for me. I've never rock climbed, but like something like that is very interesting and fun to me, and it like gives you a focus where you don't feel like awkward at all.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because you can still talk, but you're also doing something.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to show off my inability to climb a rock. That's probably what I don't want to showcase, but it makes sense.
I would be into it. I haven't gotten rock climbing in like 4 or 5 years, and I'm sure in better shape back then. Yeah, I didn't take to it. I wanted to get into rock climbing, but it always hurt my toes. It felt like my toenails were slicing into my skin, which is very unpleasant. Yeah. And then I told my friend Casey that, and he was like, "Yeah, it's just kind of like that." So it's like, I don't think this is for me. If it was like a kids zone and I wasn't like being mean and shoving kids out of the way, but there was just like a kids area that I was allowed to do it at, then maybe. But yeah, I would say, which is related, and I don't want to jump the gun on your list, but I think that's kind of like a gun range, and it kind of feels like the same vibe as like a rock climbing thing, but the axe throwing thing, that's fun. That's really fun. I did that once for a work event. It was cool.
I thought you were gonna say like a first date at like a McDonald's ball pit, because that would actually be fun if the other person was like, "Hey, let's just go to this like ball pit at McDonald's."
I can't see those without thinking about children's urine.
Yeah. Poop. That's a good point.
Oh,
that's not the way to start.
Here's something that is gross and TMI, so it's perfect for a Zoom thing. But I 2 weeks ago I went with some friends, and we went to a public pool. It was like actually like a large hot tub area. But anyways, we were like drinking and hanging out for a couple hours, and I was like, it was like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom," and they're like, "Oh, okay, like you're not just going in the hot tub?" And I was like, "No." What is wrong with you? No, I'm not doing that. And they're like, "Oh yeah, like everyone does it." Like,
what?
Yeah, they're like, everyone does it. Like, haven't you ever heard people joke about like peeing in the pool? And I was like, yeah, I thought people joked about it because it was like a disgusting thing to do that we would like shame people for. And they're like, yeah, it was like, what?
That's so cool.
Some pools have that chemical where if you do it, it like shows green around your body. So it's really embarrassing.
That blew my mind. These were adults.
Yeah.
They were like,
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, no, this has literally never occurred to me in my entire life.
Just to pee in in a hot tub, especially when you're with.
Well, not even like a hot tub, like in the pool. They were just talking about like in the pool.
Oh, okay. That's still weird. I guess a hot tub would be weirder because you're small. It's smaller and you're closer, and you can probably. I guess it's warm, so you're not gonna know if it's pee or just hot air, hot water.
Yeah. Just to acknowledge some chats. Mama Key 11 says, "Hi Matt. I'm gonna assume that is my stepmother that I was talking about earlier." And then Hong Kong Girl says that those adults, I think, is referring to the pool peers. Says those adults probably don't wash their butts. And I gotta say, Hunnicut, we're very, very adamant about this.
We're butt washers.
We're butt washers.
I
wash your butts.
If I have to use the restroom, I just wash my butt once every day.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just like, if you got 30 minutes to kill, you're just kind of like, go wash your butt.
Yeah, just your butt. Don't worry about the cheeks. Don't worry about your back. Just your butt.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, okay. Number 5 for me is an interesting one, and I think I maybe disagree with it now, but Build-A-Bear workshop. That would be kind of fun. Now that I think about it.
I think that'd be a great idea. I don't know a lot about Build-A-Bear, but
I don't know my feelings on that. I can see it being fun for some people.
Can you go through a Build-A-Bear within like an hour? Like it's not like a super involved thing, right?
No, it's just here's the bear, and then you can choose the clothes and all that.
That seems fine. Seems like there's worse ideas. Those things are usually like in malls, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you'd have to go to a mall, which is also the experience, which I think actually would be a really good first date. Mall walking. That would be on my top 5. It's just mall walking. Yeah. But this is the top 10 worst. So I'm a fan. I'm also just a fan of malls. They're like dying, right? Amazon is taking over the world. Like, go to a mall and just walk around. It's like going into a time machine. And as Lisa knows, that I'm a huge Spencer head, and I love all things Spencer's, and that's the only way I can relive that experience is actually going into a Spencer's, buying a Rick and Morty t-shirt, buying a Van Halen poster and stars on my roof. Those glow in the dark stars. You got to do it in person. You can't get it.
That's so funny. I there's no way I've been in Spencer's since high school. What are they? Those exist? What are they like?
They do. Now
they sell sex toys now.
Yeah, they sell sex toys. I think, from what Lisa's told me. I haven't been in one in a long time. But next mall I go into, I'll report back to this call and let y'all know, because these things still exist.
Well, if you need to buy a dildo and a lava lamp,
exactly,
and one of those circle things that shoots electricity,
and a little South Park Cartman doll.
Those are the 4 things that I'm usually looking for at all times.
And like fake poop.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a gag guy. I remember growing up.
And like a camouflage shirt that says "Now you can't see me" on it.
Or clowns eat me at night. Can't sleep, clowns will eat me. Do y'all remember joke shops? I remember when growing up in Queens, like there used to be gag shops. They were like Spencer's, but it was just for like stunts and like fake vomit and and a fake nose and slinkies, and it was like the coolest store. But I don't think those exist anymore.
I never even
comedy store.
Comedy store.
Like just
get to comedy.
Comedy props, and like Carrot Top, it's where he gets most of his.
The one thing I'm really interested in, that I see like 2 or 3 around Central Austin, but spy shops. That sounds so interesting.
Yeah.
And I bet the people that go there have got to be the weirdest fucking people. It's like they've got to be as weird as like military surplus store shoppers.
I've been so curious about those, about like how they stay going. Like, do they really? Is there really?
There's a lot of creeps out there trying to spy on people.
Yeah, those pens kind of creep me out. That like something like this can be a camera. Uh, it's weird.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, go ahead,
Yeah.
Jason.
All right, number 4. This one's I might disagree with now, but an extreme sporting event, like something obscure like arm wrestling or like rugby, maybe something that's not common. Would that be? That's probably a good first date. What do y'all think about like
I feel like that's one of those things, like we said on the first one, where it's like if you two are both enthusiasts of this thing,
yeah,
that's probably.
If you met at a rugby match,
then it's love.
Another kind of like, I just want to give a shout out to Hong Kong Girl, who is just, she is just, full of ideas tonight. Her idea, skydiving tube thing, which I think we all know what that is, and also don't know the correct name for. She also throws a good idea: get a piercing together at Claire's. That would be fun.
That would be cute.
And then she also says she wants to go to a monster truck rally for a date.
Gravedigger versus Bigfoot, Madison Square Garden. Yeah, that sounds fun. I would totally see a bunch of cars get demolished. That's like the best.
Yeah, I do like those. What is a skydiving tube thing?
You know, like the big fan, and it pushes you up, and then you get pushed up by the.
Yeah, okay.
The related thing that would be an actual good idea would be not to that, to the other thing that I forgot about now. But a good idea would be go-kart driving. There's one in the Domain. It's super fun. It's like Mario Kart.
Agreed.
It's like circuit. Yes, I've done it. Yeah.
Yep. Where are we on the big list?
Big list. We got 3 more. We have 13 minutes left, so it's perfect timing. All right, this one might be topical. It's a place that I love a lot, but I don't think would be a good spot for a first date. GameStop. What do you think about GameStop being a first date?
Those things exist still?
Yeah,
well, I thought they just sold stocks. I thought they were like a stock exchange now. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I feel like if it was like you were both into video games and the idea was you were gonna like buy something, like go buy like Super Smash Brothers and then go like play Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's the
but
thing.
You could probably roll that into the Build-A-Bear thing at the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of rolled up. I guess it's again something specific. But I'm guessing like this person doesn't like video games, right? Like, and you're just like, hey, just come watch me shop for video games, right? That'd be kind of.
This was kind of my very first date when I was 12. The boy that I was like best friends with, we decided that we should go with each other. So we went on our first date, and it was at the mall. And he spent the whole time in the arcade playing video games, and I would just watching him play video games.
Like
classic moron boy who doesn't know what to do, and an overly nice woman tolerating it.
Yeah, just some guy on DDR watching. That would be fun. I mean, like a Dave & Buster's or a Pinballs, like that'd be a great first date. Yeah. Number 2, I think will also be probably not the best first date. Again, I think if we put that category of saying like, or that little star of saying we're both into it, it works. But camping. Number 2 is camping.
That's for a first date. That's a commitment.
I also went camping on a first date.
Oh, tell us
how did that go?
I went to a Blackhawks game on this first date, and in the middle of the Blackhawks game, he and I were just like really hitting it off and talking about how much we love camping and hiking. And he was saying how he used to live in Fort Collins, and then he was like, let's just go there and go camping. So we went and got all our stuff from our houses, and we drove 18 fucking hours from Chicago to Fort Collins.
Wow.
And camped there at Longs Peak and Big Thompson Canyon, and then came back and we dated for like 6 weeks, and then it was over.
It's not the worst story.
Wow, that sounds pretty
nice.
cool. So you went to a hockey game and then went camping. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, when you put it in that way, like that actually sounds like probably the best first date I've heard in a long time.
Yeah,
I guess like
nice.
Commitment, the road trip, the 18 hours you really get to know someone in that 18-hour span. And then you're also in survival mode, right? Where you don't have your basic, essentials. You're just trying to cook beans on a campfire. So I probably would get hangry and spoil the moment. It's probably a nice romantic moment.
Yeah, Lisa, when you say you dated for 6 weeks, you mean you got lost in the woods for 6 weeks, right?
Yeah. Was the dating still while you're camping, or was it just
we came back to Chicago?
Back to Chicago. Okay.
But thank God he wasn't a serial killer that I was just like, sure, I'll go in your car for 18 hours to another state.
Yeah. One time I was, I guess it was the year after I graduated from UT, but I was hanging out with my friend apartment, Katie, in West Campus. And it was probably like 2 a.m. And I was sitting in my car right outside her apartment complex, getting ready to drive home. And I don't even remember why now, but I was just sitting there for like 5 minutes doing something. And these 2 very drunk girls came up and knocked on my window and asked me for directions to a frat house. And I was like, I think it's that way. I think it's around there. And they're like, oh, okay. Could you give us a ride? It's like, okay. Yeah. I did it. And now, but it was like the thing where it's like, I should have told them, like, go home. Like, you shouldn't be asking me for a ride right now. I shouldn't be giving it to you, and you don't need to go to this frat party. But I did it. And it's like, I look back now and it's like, I just have a feeling I have a feeling that those girls woke up the next day and was like, how the fuck did we get there?
Yeah.
Did we get into a stranger's car?
I'm going to acknowledge the chat real quick because I want to get a clarification. Hong Kong Girl says marathon date. So I'm thinking like binge watching marathon or marathon like you're running 6 miles in the morning and doing a fat what do they call when you like a running marathon, right? Is it a television binging party or a running marathon? Because I want to do one of those, and I'll tell you which one. It's not running.
26 kilometers or whatever it is, 26 miles.
Let's see. NRobot volunteered WrestleMania as an date idea. That sounds. That sounds like a good idea. I don't know anything about wrestling to the point that like I feel self-conscious, like I'm a snob for not being into wrestling, but I'm just not into it. But yeah, it could be that sounds like a good idea. It's like an event. It's like, how could you not have fun?
I think like I've been to a few like independent wrestling shows, and I think I'm embarrassed to say that, but they were really fun. Like people are just flipping over. It's like Shakespeare, but you're punching someone.
Right.
It's drama. It's exciting. It's so over the top. So I'm totally about going to wrestling shows for a first date because you're in it together and you're kind of poking at it a little bit. But cool. Lisa, anything on those topics, marathons and wrestling dates?
No comment.
So are we at the number 1?
We're at the number 1.
We should probably power through it. Yeah, let's power through it. I'm not sure when they're going to cut us off. I guess we go to 9.
We got 5 minutes to talk about this one because we already talked about it. My number 1 worst place to go on a date is axe throwing bar. I think it's it's kind of a weird. You're just mashing two things at once, right? It's like snail racing, right? Like that just doesn't appeal to me. Like you're just throwing in a piece of.
Have you done it before?
My house, throw an axe at this piece of wood, right? And we're gonna have fun. Like no, I have not. Maybe I have to go do it. But it's just so simple that I think it'd be boring. That would be my number one. And it's so popular here in Austin that I think, it tends to be a go-to for a lot of folks.
Okay. I really thought for a second you were going to say improv theater.
I think that's a great first date.
I bet you there's 50% of the population is like, that's a terrible
yeah.
I would love an axe throwing thing. I would be
yeah, maybe my list isn't perfect, but I maybe it's not number one. I guess it could be kind of fun. I just think it's a weird concept. Like you're just like, to put it into a bar setting, you're just throwing an axe against a piece of wood.
I can understand.
Yeah.
The other thing for me is that maybe none of these would be a good first date for me, because often I'm like, you know what? I can't tell who you are on Bumble, and I need to see you right in person. And I might know within 10 minutes that I need to get the fuck out. And if I am in a fucking skydiving tube, I can't get away.
Yeah. Lisa learned that lesson 10 minutes into a drive to Colorado from Chicago.
That would have been horrible.
All right, I'll recap my list real quick, and I think we're just about done. 10 was gun range, 9 was buffet, 8 was your own birthday party, 7 was zoo, 6 was rock climbing, 5 was Build-A-Bear, 4 was an extreme sport, 3 was GameStop, 2 was camping, and 1 was axe throwing bar. And that's my top worst places to go for a first date.
I love it.
All right, I think.
Yeah, since we have 2 minutes to kill, I will just say the one. This isn't a dating story, but it's a dating app story, and I told y'all this before the show. But my friend Renee, I was hanging out with my friend Renee and some other friends, and she had taken all these pictures of just Tinder profiles or whatever locally that she didn't like, and she was showing them to me and making fun of them. And one of them was ColdTowne legend Matt Needles, and I found that very funny. I just want to throw that out there. If Stephanie Thorson, if you're still watching, I think she'd probably get a kick out of that. And
if he's watching right now, because we know he probably is.
We know he's probably not. He's moved on to LA stardom, so doesn't have time for us little folks.
Shout out to Hong Kong girl.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for coming out. This has been a new concept called Pillow Talk, and I think this is fun. We should do it more often. Can
we all go get in bed real quick? Do we have 20 seconds? Can we do it?
I don't think we have 20 seconds. I don't think we do. I think we just have to, well, it depends how close your bed is. Yours is pretty close. I will after the show though, because I'm very tired. I guess I'll cap it off since we're at exactly at 9, and I think that's how we do this. All right, y'all. This has been Hunnicut on Holiday. Thanks for coming out and watching. We're here every other Friday, so stay tuned. There's another show coming up right after, so please support and check out ColdTowneTheater.com. And thanks so much for coming out or watching. Bye, y'all.